Guy asked for a video on the carb swap on the 4-liter, so I am here to oblige. On parts, and I'm assuming just kind of what the hell is going on. So, it's carburetor. Let me crawl up here. So, I don't know if you can see, but that's carburetor off of a 300 inline 6 Ford. Can't tell you the year. I found it in a carburetor bus, but see if you can like get a look at it. That would have been an electric choke. So picture that being an electric choke. The sun's not really helping me out, but I did get a carb kit for this one day, so I'll turn that up one of these days and try to get you an indicator of what carb that actually is. But it's stock for, I would guess, maybe an 85 Ford F-150 with a 300 inline 6. That's custom, as you can see. That's just a piece of exhaust tubing I had laying around. I just kind of cobbled it up quickly. But to be honest with you, I've been running this setup for probably about a year now, and I have had absolutely no issues. I had to adjust the float up in here max so it wouldn't cut out on inclines. But factory airbox working just fine. For the distributor, I used a Chevy HEI for a Chevy 232. I think that's what it's called. But it's the Chevy inline 6. And you can look this up online. But it should work for a 232, a Jeep 4.2, and as you can see, the Jeep 4-liter. Really easy to deal with this. You just put key on power to that right there, and that's pretty much it. Get your timing set up, and that's it. You can even see I stretched the factory wires to work. I could kind of clean that up, but I'm telling you, I threw this together and I haven't played with it at all. It's just worked. So I used the factory fuel line down there. I left all this here at the time and just kept the throttle body in the rig. So if it did fail, because the fuel injection system did still work, it was flooding out intermittently, so I was just tired of it. I guess as I'm kind of floating around, the way I adapted this was pretty simple. It was pretty friendly. This is just a piece of steel. I don't know where the camera's looking. That's just a piece of steel, and I just cut it to size. It even lined up with the factory throttle cable, and I managed to just kind of tag a choke cable on there, and that's it. So I cut that plate, and I think I just tapped threads into it, put the studs in it, and then bolted the carb on top of that. But I used all the 4 bolts for the throttle body, so you could pull this off and just throw the throttle body back down. I will say that the throat of this carburetor was a bit narrower than the actual intake for this. And in full honesty, I can kind of feel the loss of power. I would not recommend this for highway use, but for off-road, it's working great. It just lost just a little bit of power. But if I put a slightly larger carburetor on there, I bet it would take care of it. Obviously, if you put a correct intake on it, that would probably help. But I've had no issues at all with it whatsoever. It fires up, no problem. I'll do it right now. Fires up in the winter, no problem. Choke. About now, it's 90 degrees. So I'm thinking it might be just a 1 pump no choke. But it usually doesn't have much of a problem. I got a electric fuel pump just right above the tank back there. So I'm just gonna go 1 pump. Yeah, it's just, here you go. And you gotta keep it, kind of keep it alive till it warms up. But I haven't even played with the idle since it got hot. I've just left it alone. It's doing its own thing. So yeah, if you're thinking about doing it, it's really not expensive on parts. you just got to find them, and they're really not hard to come by, except for the carb. But it's easy for me around here, I guess. But if you got a place to get 306 carb pieces or carbs altogether, no problem. I'll try to find you a part number for this particular carb, because I know I got a carb kit for it. But anyway, there you go, guy.